Okay, Ashley here again with Rank the Districts. I'm here to talk about the tabulation of ranked choice voting ballots. Whenever we're determining a winner in a race with ranked choice voting, there is a round of tabulation that happens to make sure that a candidate can get over 50%. So I'm going to go through what that looks like today. But first, I'm going to give a little bit of a reminder of what it means to rank. So ranking your ballot includes first voting your favorite candidate on your first column here. So this would be your first ranking. And then every voter has the option to rank their backup choices on their second, third, fourth, and fifth columns. Although everyone has the option of just ranking as many candidates as they want to. Not everyone will use all 5 rankings, although we encourage people to use as many rankings as you're comfortable doing, as it will allow your vote to go farther. And then what happens generally is that your vote stays with your first choice until that candidate loses. And then your vote simply moves to your next choice. And this repeats until a candidate wins with over 50% of the vote. What we're going to do is practice this in real time, and you can go ahead and try it yourself if you like. Here's the QR code. We have created multiple mock ballots so people can practice ranking process. You can rank anything. We have lots of versions of these kinds of ballots, but here's one where we ask you to rank your favorite DC sports teams. So I'll let you go ahead and scan that if you'd like to try. And if you're ready, we can go ahead and see what the results look like. So these are the results and tabulation of this rank your favorite DC sports team challenge. So what we're looking at right now is round 1. So this is everyone's first choice rankings. What you'll see is that the Commanders come in at a solid 52 votes. Mystics had 39 votes. Wizards had 31. Capitals 16, and Nationals 5. And I'll mention, if you're following along with the results and tabulation tab on the QR code that you just scanned, they'll have different numbers because voting can continue past when these particular results were established. But these are just for an example anyway. So what happened here in this first round? Well, we look at this line. This line shows what 50% of all the votes would be, and that's 72 votes. None of the candidates reached that 50% threshold. So what do? Well, in ranked choice voting, we take the lowest ranking candidates and we eliminate them. And so the Nationals had 5 votes. What happened was the people who voted for the Nationals as their number 1 pick had their votes redistributed to their second choices. So one person voted for the Nationals as their first choice and the Capitals as their second choice. So that vote moved to the Capitals. Then 3 people who had ranked the Nationals as their first choice had the Mystics as their second choice. So those 3 votes went there. And then there was 1 voter who had the Commanders as their second choice. So each of these other candidates received a couple of more votes. And those voters didn't have their votes lost, but they simply moved on to their next choice. So now we look again. This is round 2. What we see is that still none of these candidates have reached the 50% mark. So what do? We do the same thing again. We eliminate the last place candidate, which in this case is the Capitals. And yet again, those 17 votes get moved on to those voters' next choices. So once again, we're on round 3. We look at, hey, do any of the candidates reach 50%? And no one has. So we do this one more time, and we see that the Wizards came in last in that round. So we eliminate the Wizards, and each of those voters have those votes redistributed to their next choices. And it's about an even split between the Commanders and Mystics, but the Commanders were ahead and they reached the 50% mark on round 4. So this means that the Commanders win. So now you can see what it means for a candidate to win with over 50% in a ranked choice voting election. And that happens even when there are lots of candidates, because you're not just taking into account people's 1 vote that we used in our previous elections, but we are taking into account people's second, third, fourth, and fifth rankings, so that you're getting more of people's opinions. You're getting more of their voice. And this is a really good tool for building consensus among a population and finding who is really the majority support candidate. So thank you again for your attention here. And once again, you can visit rankthedistrict.org with any more questions. We have a contact form on there. You can feel free to shoot us a message if you want to ask any other questions. And there's lots of materials for you to learn from, and please share so that everyone in DC knows what they're doing when they go to the polls this year. Thanks so much.